do, though.
Huh?
Hanging with your boys is the funnest thing to do.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you have, it's still always going to be the funnest
always
thing.
the best.
There's nothing else to do.
I agree.
Hanging with your boys and talking shit and laughing is always going to be the peak human experience.
Yeah, well, once you have it all, like, where do you go from that? Like, you get more.
You just
shit,
need-
more
I
shit,
think-
more
How many
shit.
close boys do you have?
Yeah.
Like you, Tristan, who else?
2, 3.
Tristan, you want to come in here?
You don't want to come on here? No, he's good.
Hanging with your boys is always going to be the peak thing. It doesn't matter if I have $100 million or I have $10. I'll be still sitting with Tristan laughing. That's always going to be the funnest thing.
Have you guys been like that since you were born?
Yeah.
Was that taught to you, or it's just like a bond?
It was semi-taught to us. We tried to fight when we were a kid, and our dad wouldn't have it.
Fuck yeah.
He was like, "No, the world's out to get
I
you
think
boys.
people.
You're on the same
I think
team."
there's a lot of people that don't understand the importance of like getting along with your relatives, and that's something that you guys show. I think people envy.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have a brother, the idea is that you make your best friend possible out of him, right? Why else would you have a brother?
No, but I think there's a lot of like families that lack that.
But this is the thing, and this is where I'm about to get. Oh, I need to shut up, man. I'm about to say some shit.
You're already canceled.
Yeah,
What
whatever.
they want to get rid of the family?
No, I can go down a whole bunch of tangents. That's true though.
Yeah.
But I can go down a whole bunch of tangents. But in my experience, these shorts are so small. 1 second.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Where's the sheesh guy?
Are
Does
you
he have
going
a
for
pair
like
of pants?
Are you going for like the Dan Bilzerian type of vibe with the short
I was swimming, and then we went to the desert, and then you guys are here.
Okay.
So it's just one of them things. In my experience, I have a lot of guys who come and say, "I'm not as close with my brother as you and Tristan. I want to be as close. Why are we not as close as you and your brother are?" And and 95% of the time, the answer is because of chicks. Because you have two brothers growing up. They hit puberty, whatever. They both get different girlfriends. They move in with their girl, or their girl doesn't like them rolling with their brother because they're always out doing man shit, and their girl slightly isolates them to a degree, or their chick doesn't like his chick, or whatever. There's some chick involvement. So if you want to truly have a close relationship with your brother or your friends, you need to have a relationship with them where you sit and say, "All right, cool. Me and Tristan have done this multiple times. We've had girls sit there and go, "I don't like your brother." That's a problem because if it gets anywhere near a decision, you're going to lose. So you either like him right away or just fuck off. But most people won't do that. Most people will be like, "Well, why?" "Well, yeah, he was a bit rude to you, I guess." "Okay, we won't go over there tonight. Please suck me off." And then it all falls apart. You have to make a choice.
That is very true.
It's true, bro. You have to make a choice. You have to make a decision. And we always made the decision to put our brotherhood above everything else.
I never thought about that.
And it ties into lots of things. It also ties into economics. I've said this story before, but I'll say it again. When I was growing up in Luton in England, which is a highly Islamic town, there's lots of Muslims who live there. I was friends with some Muslim guys in college, and they used to laugh at me all the time. One of them was like 19, worked in Tesco and had a Ferrari. I was like, "Bro, how do you have a Ferrari when you work in a fucking..." I think he worked in a chicken and chip shop. He worked in like a fast food restaurant and had a Ferrari. I was like, "How do you have a Ferrari when you work in a fast food restaurant?" He said, "Because I got 9 brothers. And we all work together and we share the car." I was like, "Okay, but why do you share the car?" He said, No, you don't understand. I won't use the racial slurs, but he was like, "You people, there's you and your 3 brothers. You all grow up, you all decide to get with your girl, you all go pay different rents, you all disappear, all your money gets spread out now, you're taking your girl on holiday and paying a different rents, and you're all separate. Me and my 9 brothers live in one big house. If we meet a woman, she moves into the house. The men are all focused on making money. The women are all looking after us, cooking, cleaning. You got 9 men in the same house trying to pool their incomes. That's why we own the houses you rent from us. It's different. Brotherhood first. It's different. You people don't think that way. You fall in love. You fall in love with some bitch and you run off. You go pay her rent.
Sure.
It's like a different mentality, and that's why they win.
I think it's funny because a lot of people that have talked about you say, "I agree with a lot of things that he says, but there's those 2 things that I just can't agree with."
Boo-hoo.
But how it sucks.
It doesn't suck because that's life. I don't expect people to agree with everything I say.
But a lot of things that you do say are very important. So those messages for the younger audience, it sucks that that's not getting taken in, but the bullshit's what they look at.
Well, yeah, they find the little bits that they can use to purport and try and pretend I'm a bad guy, and they amplify them. That's true. But I can't think of anyone else on the internet who I agree with 100% of what they say. There's people I really like. And yeah, we're living in a world now where people are asinine. They have the slave mind. What's interesting is there's a guy who's built a TikTok account, and I think he has like 1 million followers. And what he does is he walks around college campuses asking people if they've heard of me, and then if they like me or not. We're living in a world now where people are asinine. They have the slave mind. What's interesting is there's a guy who's built a TikTok account, and I think he has like 1 million followers. And what he does is he walks around college campuses asking people if they've heard of me, and then if they like me or not. It's brilliant. So he goes and goes, "Have you heard of Andrew Tate?" And they're like, "Yeah." "Do you like him?" "No." "Why?" "He's misogynist." "Define misogynist." And they go,
Yeah.
Whatever, bro. And just what they don't even know why they dislike me.
Yeah.
And it's the slave mind.
Taught to
Yeah,
dislike.
it's
They
conformity.
can't even tell you a quote I've said. What's he said bad about women? He's a piece of shit. They can't answer the questions. They don't know. So a lot of these people are just slave mind programmed, right?
No
And
girls ever pressed you in public?
zero. Absolutely not a single female in public has ever once said anything negative to me ever. In fact, quite the opposite. Oh, yeah, I wish there was more men like you, protect, provide, etc. Yeah, people take everything out of context. I've never had a single chick ever mad about anything I've ever said ever. Not one. Now, maybe if I was in godless America, I might get some girl doing some dumb shit. I live in countries of civilization. I live in a civilized society, but I've never had it.
I want to switch gears a little bit. So earlier I was talking about self-love, and you said earlier about like your brother and you have all the money, you have all the stuff. What's really important is like the time you spend with basically your loved ones, right? So my thought in life is that the most important thing in life is love, and being able to love yourself and love those around you.
Yep.
I wanted to get your opinion on that because I think more kids, because obviously a lot of kids are going to listen to this and watch this, but I think more people should talk about that idea and how do you find that? I wanted your experience of finding that as a whole.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. And we live in a hateful world, and it's kind of scary because whether it's the sensationalism that the media outlets are getting from the clips by purporting hateful ideas, like you just said, whether it's the weaponized virtue, which is basically pure hate against people like me or the people they don't like, cancellation as a whole is hateful. It's a hateful act. They'll sit and say, he's so bad. They don't, let's use my example, misogyny. Do you think the people who are attacking me give a single fuck about, do you think any of them donate to women's charities?
No,
do you think any of them protect women or care about women? No, they just hate me. It's hateful, right?
Yeah.
So we live in a very, very hateful world. And I think love comes from a position of strength. I think you always have to be a strong person to love. I think you have to be an intelligent person to love, which is why stupid people are so hateful. And you have to work on yourself. And I think you have to become strong in your body and mind to love things. It's not easy to love things and people when they do you wrong. It's not easy to love a woman again after your last one did whatever. Yeah. It's not easy to do it. You have to be a strong individual. And that's why I think love comes from strength, which is why I always say strength is so important mentally and physically. I say that all the time. It's all I talk about. I say that if you're a man, the easiest way to improve your life in every single possible way is to just work on your physical strength, and your mental strength will follow, and you become a better person you can love. You know this yourself. Look at the size of you, right? You go in the gym, it's the biggest guys that are the nicest guys. True or false?
True.
Because they don't have this ego. It's the same. If you walk in a fighter gym, the most deadly dude in there is going to be a nice guy.
And it's interesting how the perception is that you're going to be a bad guy because of the way you look.
Completely.
A lot of things, like the things that you say or the things that you're doing, or like the masculine stance that you take, you're a bad guy.
Yep.
And it's just, the whole thing is just crazy to me how it happens. But I really want to emphasize that for the people listening, is like self-love is the most important thing, and being able to give love and share love. Like, what else are we doing all this shit for?
Completely. And you can't pour from an empty cup. And before you give love to anybody else, you have to truly love yourself. And I think the easiest way to love yourself as a man is to be proud of yourself. And to be proud of yourself, you have to decide who you want to be inside of the metaverse, inside of the matrix. You have to decide the character you want to be and try your best to achieve it.
Why do you think people struggle with being proud of themselves?
I think because they know they're failing. I think that most people failing in life know very well they're failing. And it doesn't matter what avatar you decide to absorb or who you decide to be. You can decide to be it, and you know true in your heart if you're giving 100% of your energy towards becoming it or not. It doesn't matter if you want to become a famous musician. It doesn't matter if you want to become a bodybuilder. It doesn't matter if you want to become a pro fighter. It doesn't matter what you want to be. You know in your heart if you're actually trying or not. You have to decide what you want to be and try and become it. And a lot of the people who are genuinely unhappy or miserable in their hearts know they're not trying that hard.
Well, and I think they also focus on what everyone else is doing right or wrong, and then judging outward, and everyone's like focused on this outward reflection of like what that person has and versus what they don't have. And it's all just like this just cycle of negativity.
Completely.
And we found ourselves, especially with social media nowadays, we found ourselves like most people, because maybe they're not mentally strong.
I couldn't sleep. I'd be trying to go to bed thinking, how the fuck these people have Ferraris? I want a fucking Ferrari. I couldn't sleep.
But what were the first steps that you took when you're like, yo, I got to fucking change my life? What was the first thing you did? So people out there that might be going through it.
But I never had to like change my life because my life was never wrong, because I always knew what I wanted. And I was always doing my best to get it.
I think that's like built within people.
This comes down to self-awareness. Everyone is, like I said earlier about the outward reflection about what's happening. People aren't taught to be self-aware anymore. People are taught to just like I said, look at that guy, what he has, and be mad that you don't have it. Or like, if something's going on with me, I don't want to look inside and say, what's actually happening with me? Why am I this way? Why am I the person that I am today? Everyone goes, it's an outward. Like if I have a problem with a girl, oh, it's her fucking fault.
Oh yeah, pass the blame. Pass the blame.
Everything has been that way. And I just want to talk more about this kind of stuff, because like we're asking these questions like about like what this, but I want to figure out deeply, how do you think a man specifically in this case is able to look at themselves more comfortably without holding the judgment, the fact that they don't have the stuff over themselves, because we need to talk more about this kind of shit and critical thinking as well. We'll get into that next.
Completely. You're totally right. I think there's two answers to the question. One, I think a lot of it came from chess, because chess is the most ruthless game on the planet. And what chess will teach you, people think chess guys are nerds. Chess guys are psychopaths, man. They're ruthless.
No, they're smart.
They're smart.
Are you nasty at chess?
I'm all right. I'm not.
What's your best like game, like strategy?
My
game?
elo, for anyone who knows chess ratings, is like 1800, which is it's all right. It's a pretty average considering my father was a grandmaster. It's not even that good. But I was 18.
Shit.
I was 1800 when I was 8. I got no better, right?
Okay.
So because I stopped playing. But chess teaches you that no matter how, chess teaches you that if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. It doesn't matter if it's the smallest mistake. It doesn't matter if you just took too long to think to make the right move and you ran out of time on the clock. At some point, you fucked up for you to lose that game. It's 100% accountability with no luck. That's what's so important about learning chess. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you need to, as a man, adopt the mindset that absolutely everything that happens to you is completely and utterly your fault, whether it's good or bad. And most men don't have that. Most men don't have that. When the Matrix was attacking me and they were destroying me, when they're calling up my exes trying to get fake fucking charges on me and put me in jail, when they close my bank accounts and I use $10, $11 million, when they ban me across all social medias and lie about me, when they harass my family, I'm sitting there going, this is my fault. All of this is me. I got here. It's my fault. I'm not going, that was unfair. It was orchestrated. The NGOs worked against me. Because that is not helpful.
So it's accountability.
It's 100% accountability in all things. But also when I go out there and I start the Bugatti, it's like, that's me. This is my fault. The car is my fault, and the big house is my fault, and everything that ever goes wrong is my fault.
And the failures.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to take complete and utter accountability for everything. You can't make excuses ever.
Yeah.
There's never an excuse. And you're right. People try and put things on the outwards on the outside. It's interesting. I remember watching Forrest Gump about 5 years ago. I was on a plane. I can't remember where I was flying. And the beginning of Forrest Gump has a scene in it, which I don't think many people actually have ever analyzed or anticipated or understood what the scene means. But when he's sitting on the bench at the beginning, think about Forrest Gump. He's sitting on the bench at the beginning and there's a feather blowing.
Yeah, you nailed this shit.
Yeah.
And then it lands on him and the movie begins.
Yeah.
What they're saying with that is Forrest is the feather and life has just pushed him all over and put him in all these unusual scenarios. Life has directed him everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying.
Sure.
And if you're going to be the guy and you're going to allow life to happen to you and you're not going to happen to life, then you're at mercy of the wind. Perhaps it might work out okay, but it might not, right? So you have to be the guy who goes, okay, the wind's blowing in this direction. Fuck them. I'm doing this. You have to come to life. You can't let life come to you, because if you let life come to you, then you're going to be living inside of a matrix and a system